Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 459. Surprise Saturday video, if you will. But I am going to stop with the Twitch streaming. That's why we're going to be seeing this. It's just too hard for me to maintain the schedule of availability to do that. I had to bounce around a few weekends ago, and some of these I'm just going to have to cancel. And so I've really enjoyed doing the YouTube in terms of it. Being something that, like I can work on for a half hour and then go do something and then work on for an hour and go do something and then come back and edit it a little bit and get the posts up and answer some comments and stuff. And it's just pretty challenging for me to assemble these 3 hour blocks of time across the weekends. And so, if you have followed us on Twitch, I did enjoy it. It's nice having the ability to chat with people live as opposed to just in the comments section. I wouldn't be surprised if we make our way back for some kind of special event. That's the way that I used to kind of handle the Twitch. But yeah, to have it be something that I do twice a week, it's just a little bit challenging to juggle all the life commitments and being able to maintain the stream and do that. So I am planning to go back up to the daily YouTube video if that was your thing. Hopefully that'll help you get your fix of FTP bust. But in terms of the Twitch, I'm just going to have to let that go. I enjoyed the experiment. I appreciate those of you that come by and hung out, but I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump on in. We'll click the open play button, take a peek at who's here, and get started. And oh man, check out this Nocturne. It's like I don't know what the deal with Nocturne is these days. If he's just been like bringing himself towards us to make an appearance or what. But we've been seeing like a lot of this Nocturne turn up whenever we're drafting Shadow Isles, and I'm curious what like the card is that has been sparking that. This here should just be randomness, but in a lot of our actual draft picks after the champions, I've been seeing a lot of the Black Mist Nocturne turn up, and I think it's probably just a function of picking one of the fearsome units or something. But if you're if you're out here just shooting for your 7 winner, I think Lux is probably the way to go. Still a pretty powerful archetype. It's much less high rolly than the Black Mist Nocturne. But, I mean, we got this Nocturne here. We've got a couple Mist Wraiths staring at us. I think it's meant to be here. So, let's get this pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar, just over at ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition-related content. We're just going to be on the front page here. Make our way to this drop-down box on the Expedition Helper and pull up the Nocturne Black Mist. And so, yeah, the Black Mist, it's interesting. It's intent to be on this kind of like fearsome Mist Wraith style build around, and it's not as easy to assemble the Mist Wraiths as it used to be, right? We used to be able to, say, draft Nocturne and then find Mist Wraiths and Afterlife Kalista and then Retribution Kalista. I feel like there might have been like one other archetype or two that had like a rando Mist Wraith in it, but now it's like Wraithcaller lives in Afterlife, nothing is in Retribution, and this is really the only place to come out here and find the Mist Wraiths. And so, good or bad, that's up for you to decide. That's just kind of the way it is now. Mist Wraiths are sometimes unfun to play against, but I think this fearsome thing might be more prevalent in the future as Shurima gets some of the negative attack style cards. But back to the ideas here with the Black Mist Nocturne. It's meant to be a fearsome deck and a little bit above and beyond just the fearsomes, a Mist Wraith deck. Again, it's the only archetype where we'll find the 3 card combo of Mist Wraith, Risen Mists, and the Wraith Caller. And we are going to look to heavily be drafting around Wraith Caller. And so we are going to look to be very heavily into Shadow Isles. I don't really like to pick up more than 6 cards of the opposing faction if we're trying to draft an Allegiance deck. And then we're going to look for some combos for these Wraithcaller style cards. And so Mist Call can bring back a Wraithcaller, things like the 4 mana thing that kills a unit and brings it right back. Those can be quite useful as well. And then we're also going to look for a big pile of fearsomes. And so outside of the Mist Wraiths, the most important fearsome we'll be finding is Frenzied Skitterer. We may or may not have some spiders on the board, whatever, but the more relevant thing is giving our opponent's units negative attack. If they have less than 3 attack, they can't block. 3/3 is the common stat line in Expedition, and so if you can turn your opponent's board of 3/3s into two power units, then we can punch through with all of our mist wraiths. And so, yeah, that's the big things we're looking for. Don't look for too much interactivity here. This is basically a let's get our big mist wraiths on the board and get to slamming. Although we will potentially look for like one copy of Atrocity. It's very easy to get like a 6 or a 7 attack mist wraith and just throw it at your opponent's face. And then we do tend to look for cards like what's it called? Not Fading Memories is fine. Stalking Shadows. This is the one to where if we can spike a mist wraith in the top pieces of our deck, we can essentially have 2 copies. Especially important here at the beginning when they're a little bit hard to find. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. We do have a decision here. This is actually fairly important. If we want to actually pick up this Luminous Dusk Diana, that's kind of a little give and take here in terms of picking up Diana. We could just look to come over and just draft Nightfall, right? We could just give up on the idea of drafting Mist Wraiths, fall into this partner pairing of Diana and Nocturne, draft the Nightfall deck. It's still extremely powerful, and Diana recently boosted to where she gets the Challenger not just when she comes into play, but when you hit any Nightfall, and so you can get these quick attack challenges over and over again. Now, given the start that we have here with this Risen Mist Wraith, I'm going to stay away from this Diana. It shouldn't be like too punishing in terms of the Luminous Dusk Nocturne turning up, right? We talk about this concept frequently as to where, say, we're wanting to draft the Sumpworkers deck, the Sumpworks Posse, then we take the Echo, we don't touch Shurima, we don't touch Bilgewater, that guarantees we see P and Z every time when the Echo packs come up. But in terms of Mist Wraiths, it's not that important for Nocturne. The Mist Wraiths don't live within Luminous Dusk, but it may help in terms of finding things like Doom Beast or Unspeakable Horror. But I don't think we're going to like hamstring ourselves taking this Diana, long story short. But with this pack, I'm actually looking to come over here and take this Kennen. He is not going to play well in terms of synergies with Nocturne, but if we're going to be this allegiance deck, we're going to try to be extremely aggressive. That means we're just going to try to like limit ourselves out of Bandle City, and then the cards here are just fucking cheap and elusive and good at combat, right? Kennen is cheap, 2 attack, quick attack for 1 mana, great deal. Kelp Maidens has elusive, so she can punch in, and then the Quicken is a nice little a nice little bit of interactivity on the cheap. And so I think if we're really just going to heavily focus in on Shadow Isles, this should be a pretty reasonable pairing. And then if something like Conchologist turns up, then we can come out and take it. But we aren't really gonna limit anything that turns up. And so we can pick up this Slice and Dice Kennen. I don't think there's too much relevant in this archetype. I really have almost no desire to draft any of the Bandle City cards. I'm really just kind of coming out here to check out the epics. They aren't that impressive. Not really interested in Bandle City Mayor in this style of deck. And then some kind of like random utility we might find. I won't be upset to pick up a Minimorph. Something like Lightning Rush could be okay. Lightning Rushing back a Wraithcaller wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then we did see Quicken already. And then the likes of Conchologist, just one of the all-around best cards in the game. And so I could see a pack turning up. We might really want to jump out of our way to pick up a Minimorph, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to really look towards too much Bandle City. So, welcome to the squad, Kennen, and then let's see how this goes. And so, it's a nice Black Mist pack right from the start, right? Frenzied Skitterer we talked about as the most important non-Mist Wraith unit. That looks pretty good to me. Something like Event Horizon could be interesting, but most of our units shouldn't be getting blocked anyways, right? If all of our units have Fearsome, then the width stun shouldn't matter as much. It's certainly relevant sometimes, but shouldn't matter too much here. Okay, now these packs are garbage. There's nothing for us here. I'm going to go with the Fading Icon just on the back that it's the most aggressive unit here. But like Wizened Wizard, Furious Feyfolk aren't going to be that impressive. Well, I could see an argument for Furious Feyfolk being okay, right? If he gets this boost for dealing damage to the enemy Nexus, we're trying to be aggressive. He should be able to come down and have impact. And so whenever we talk about these expensive bros, we usually want like overwhelm units. And this has sort of like bad overwhelm, right? He's going to hit for 4 damage when he attacks, and so I could actually see that being a thing. But if we're also going to consider hitting an allegiance, I don't want to stack up on too much Bandle City, especially when it's not particularly strong over here. So I'm going to go with the Fading Icon. Out of this, we got a Mist Wraith. We just have to take it. We'll take Mist Wraith with anything. If it's a Mist Wraith with a Pesky Spectre, then welcome to the deck. Yeah, I would take a Mist Wraith with an Ascendant's Rise or whatever that 7-mana epic is, just to make sure we get them in our deck. But okay, so this is kind of interesting down here. We do actually have Mini-Morph paired off with a Shadow Isles card. This is the perfect way to pick up these Mini-Morphs, and I'm glad to have this one copy of it. I'm not amped about the amount of time we're seeing Darkness Rising here. I know it's been in wild picks both times, but there is the chance that the game tries to give us a bunch of Darkness Rising in our synergies. See, like right here, this is kind of abysmal, but hopefully this will get fixed. Like I was wondering if this was going to happen. I knew we took 2 Darkness Rising archetypes. The actual banner at the top doesn't matter. The way that it works is based on if making the composition of your deck look like the composition of the archetypes, and so the game is kind of blind to the names of the archetypes that you take, but by taking the cards that live in there, it does increase the percentage of your deck that matches that archetype. And so I think it really pops off as you hit the actual darkness cards. We didn't do that, so I was hoping this didn't turn up, but it kind of is what it is at this point. So let's pick up these Black Mist cards. Just the Mist Call, Stalking Shadows, not great, and there's no units in it, which also kind of sucks, but these are decent in terms of boosting our Mist Wraith count. All right, same kind of deal here. Not really strong cards for us, but the Chronicler of Ruin can be used on a scroll down to highlight our Mist Callers that we don't have, but it can be a reasonable play in those terms, and even just on a Mist Wraith that does technically boost all the rest of your Mist Wraiths. But here we got a Mist Wraith, easy take. On to the next one. No Mist Wraiths here. This is a nice aggressive stack of Bandle City units, but I think I just want to go with the Fading Icon again. We'll get some Wraith Callers at some point. We don't have them here just yet, but I assure you they'll turn up. And here, I haven't actually had the chance to try to play Mist Keepers within a Mist Wraith deck. I don't think it's going to be very good, but we do get the Dawning Shadow to go with it, which kind of in terms of saying we can give all of our opponent's units negative attack, we might be able to punch in something big here at the end. And so these should be fairly synergistic with what we're trying to pull off. Okay, and so with these, I'm just going to go with another Fading Memories. A really weak set of cards. Just so many Chronicler of Ruins and Spirit Leeches running around, but the Fading Memories is still going to be fairly on theme. Down here, we have a Fading Icon with a Black Spear, another good aggressive collection of cards. Man, our unit count is way out of whack in this one. That's pretty abysmal, but we can at least pick up 2 here. Get a Conchologist Tornado Warriors. Fine, Conchologist. Again, one of the premier units in the game. Okay, and then trading out Kennen for Kalista. Fine. Fine. That should at least help us in the future in terms of getting some good trade picks and helping the game hone in on the archetypes we're looking for. But you know what time it is. We do live that pay-to-win lifestyle. We have to go and find something to turn premium. And let's take a look at what's not owned. There's not going to be a whole lot for us to do. Ooh, Tornado Warrior, though. He's not on theme, but he is common. If we're gonna be out here switching up from the 4 videos a week back to the 7, we gotta pick up the commons where we can. I got 3 more videos of purchase and premiums for you all. I gotta protect my pocketbook. But it should be fine. It said purchase failed on that. That happened to us a couple of videos ago, and it turned out to be a lie. And so I'm pretty confident that our Tornado Warrior is going to have his premium treatment. All right, let's see how this goes. We don't have a very good Mist Wraith count at this point, and so we're going to need some of these games to go right. Kind of need to bounce back and forth with some wins here in the early game, and then hopefully we can fix things with a few trade picks. Like our deck isn't really close to being super strong now, but if we can carry a 50% win rate across a couple of games, we can certainly trade into a real deck. All right, opponent out here doing Teemo things. We have the answer to Teemo for the moment, right? We have the Unspeakable Horror in our hand, and so hopefully we can deal with him before he's a problem. Okay. It's actually kind of tempting to just take this Teemo hit next turn. He's not going to be flipped. It's just going to be a couple more puff caps. It is kind of bad in terms of what we have on board. We need to get something going, but I don't really want to be adding Frenzied Skitterer here. Okay. This is a little dangerous, right? He can flip the Teemo with the Mushroom Cloud out of hand, right? We kind of missed an opening by not dealing with him immediately. But let's see how this plays out. And looking at this now as a trying to find a reasonable way to do it, right? I mean, he's just going to have the spell mana banked up. This is a fairly bad play for us, and the Veteran Investigator just going to kill our Mist Wraiths. But it doesn't quite feel like a turn where I just want to slam down Frenzied Skitterer. So let's at least just come in and take the trade. Gonna have to suffer a Teemo hit, but kind of is what it is. If we can hit like one good Stalking Shadows, everything should be fine. Everything will be okay, I assure you. And we do have, quite a bit of drain. We have 6 health of drain in our hand, and so we can fade the damages and the puff caps for a little bit. And so, like in an ideal world, what will end up happening here is we're going to play the Stalking Shadows next turn. Then we'll hit a Mist Wraith off of the Stalking Shadows. We're able to play the Mist Wraith. And then on the following turn, we can play a Mist Wraith and a Frenzied Skitterer. That should be like 15 damage. And then hopefully we can just chunk through that last bit on the next turn. But see how it goes. We do have Unspeakable Horrors that can go face. They drain from anything. Don't have any Doom Beasts, which is kind of odd. All right, take that puff cap hit before Teemo slams us, right? You can't double the puff caps if they aren't in our deck. So safety, right? Maybe opponent will just play Progress Day here. That's how we'll boom them. Oh, he just didn't attack. Okay, I don't get that one, but I'll accept it. Well, a piece of this plan is coming together. We hit the Mist Wraith there. I wonder if opponent disconnected. It seems like it's an actual real possibility here. That timer was going down pretty low and then they didn't play anything. I can't imagine that their intended line for the turn was to just pass. Yeah, it looks like they're gone. So this would have been an interesting one. I'm curious how this would have turned out if opponent was still here. Like we've got these like big chunks of damage to where we wouldn't have to fade too much Teemo damage. It'd probably just be a lot of squeezing the butt cheeks and seeing how things turn out. But we're at least in a space now to where if he doesn't open with Teemo, we can still just like pop him with a Piercing Darkness. Jam. Sad day. Opponent was not here. Okay, so what are we going to pick up? I'm not opposed to drafting around either Nocturne or Kalista. The champions aren't the super important thing here. The important thing is the Mistwraith package, and I'm leaning more and more towards this Kalista. The Rekindler Kalista combo is good, right? If you have this flipped Kalista, and she dies and you bring her back with the Rekindler, then if the Rekindler dies and Kalista summons a unit, summons the Rekindler summons more Kalistas, you get this big like cycle of goodness happening. And then Vengeance is, of course, the premier removal. And so I'm leaning towards these. Nocturne's not a champion that I'm like a huge fan of, especially since the Mistwraiths don't have Nightfall, right? It's very challenging for us to flip Nocturne. So he has like a nice bit of interactivity about him, but he's kind of hard to use. We are passing on a big bomb here in the Harrowing, but that's like the thing that's kind of drawing me into Nocturne is our units tend to be fairly bad. Like our Mistwraiths come down and trade. It's very easy to trade with a Mistwraith, but the Harrowing can bring us back into the game. And so the more I think on it, the more I'm interested in the Harrowing. The Dust Rider is not very good, though. It's like the quality of cards with the Kalista is much higher than the Nocturne Dust Rider, but the Harrowing is more powerful than all of the cards in the Kalista archetype. But I think I'm just going to go with the Kalista here. She works quite nicely with this theme. If we are out here just slamming our Mistwraiths to the grave, getting a flipped Kalista is pretty strong. And then if we do ever find a Wraithcaller, if we can, you can start to try to do the thing to where you bring Wraithcallers back with your Kalista, which then summons another Mistwraith to the board. That Mistwraith isn't attacking, but it does boost your Mistwraiths. So some pretty cool potential there. This would be kind of like the classic Kalista deck. Okay, so we'll keep the aggressive half of the curve here. See what we can't do against old Pantheon. I at least like a lot of the tools we have for against Pantheon, right? If he's trying to go tall on us, then we have the Vengeance, the Piercing Darkness, and the Minimorph. And so he's not a champion that we have to be like ultra afraid of. Okay, then there is a world where he can't block this Kalista, so let's go ahead and get her down. Oh, friend. Just the do-nothings? Gotta have something. Uh-oh. He hasn't been watching his FTP bust videos. You gotta... you gotta mulligan. You can't let things like that happen to you. Okay, so I'm looking at Cloud Stance out of these, just the most aggressive card out of the bunch. And then we're going to play Mistwraith and Risen Mists with an open next turn. Here comes the fun. Comes the Cloud Stance. I'm ready for it. Boom goes the dynamite. That's all it takes. No, he's got cards. Silence. Okay, that's fine. So we'll take him down to like 1, and then if we need to next turn, we can just Dawning Shadow this Pantheon. If he's too clever about it, we can Withering Wail the Pantheon, but I don't think that's going to be a thing. It's tempting. It's tempting to throw down. All right, we'll go for it. Not too much to get away from this. You can Bastion out of it, but feel pretty safe. Ancient Hourglass. Okay. Now he's going to have 2 pretty good answers to our board. Right, the Pantheon will come back, but got these 2 bros ready to attack. We got the Rekindler to continue on with the aggression. Get 2 units down for 1. It's slightly awkward with these bat tokens on the board or whatever they're called. We only have like one way to sacrifice them off, so that could have been a touch of a problem if we're trying to put Kalistas on the board with summons, but that dum-dum is sitting there. But all right, here, let's get rid of the Withering Whale. We aren't really the kind of deck that wants this. There's a couple of worlds where you want this in aggressive decks, to where if we're playing like a really go wide like Spiders deck and our opponent sees us play Brood Awakening and they block all of our 2/1s with a bunch of 3/3s, it can be kind of nice to clear out their 3/3s with Withering Whale. But in terms of Mistwraiths, you tend to just trade with everything. Like, I get that we aren't really a developed Mistwraiths deck. We need a lot of trades to get there. But, your problem with Mistwraiths is your 6/2 Mistwraith just trades with your opponent's 3-cost 3/3. And not a problem as to where you need to do an AoE to clear the board. So, I think that's a fine trade. Just jump on in. Maybe we'll get some big spell slays with that Mistkeeper, and that's the way to do it. You get the Mistkeeper on the board, you Withering Whale, and then make like 5 of them. I'd have to read the card again to know if you can even do that, but it'd be a pretty big play. Okay. Oh man, look at that, a double Mistwraith draw. If you couldn't see our deck list, you would think that we're out here doing bonkers things. Okay. Ready for action. I guess one could say a downside to actually having both Mistwraiths in our hand is we can't Stalking Shadows into any more of them. So, it could be a touch of a problem, but we'll see. We'll see. What is this? Swain? Misfortune. Okay. See how many blood baits this guy's gonna drop on us. That's the thing I'm always coming out here and complaining about in terms of these Misfortune decks is you have to dodge so many blood baits just to draft her. Interesting if the Risen Mist's turning up. It's like I intended on just going with the Skitterer. There can be like a lot of bad plays coming from the Noxus decks when they're just like, oh man, I've got a handful of. This is fairly unfortunate. You still have to slam, but you get a handful of like 5/1s. It could be tough for the likes of a Noxus opponent. Alright, kinda suck, but we still have a Fearsome on the board. Give me a good one. That's the way you just have to tell the game sometimes. Give me a good one. What do we got? Looking at the Flame Spitter. Poison Dart could be okay. I mean, it kills the Trifarian Hopeful, but we already have 2 pings in our hand. I think I want Flame Spitter. Okay. Burned it down. Oh man, we can we can miscall back a conchologist. The values are infinite here. It's like I'm actually wanting to pick up Onslaught of Shadows just because we need to like punch in damage somehow. But maybe we'll hit an Eclipse Dragon or something with one of these Unspeakable Horrors. That's the kind of card I was talking about in terms of our Unspeakable Horror style cards being good and maybe getting a punch in. Trying to drop Thorn of the Rose against all of our Unspeakables. I think this is fine. We still get to, you still pick up the Nightfall, you just don't get the Drain. Picked up a nice elusive unit now. So I'm going to ignore playing the Unspeakable Horror onto the Strafarian Hopeful. And just see if we can't get a trade with old Conchologist here. And I'm kind of okay with leaving this other one back so we can perhaps missed call it if we need to.
I'll shoot the wings off a bilge wasp.
It's like, I gotta do something. Let's see.
For the Empire.
I don't know. I just have to imagine that if he's playing these cards this late in the game, that he probably just doesn't have anything big in his hand. So let's see. Let's see if we can't do a little bit of our own aggro thing here. Let's take down the Crackshock Corsair before it's able to attack. See what Nightfall unit we get. Maybe we'll pick up a double stun or something, right? There's a lot of big boys you can hit with the Nightfalls. Or just invoke into something huge.
Reporting for duty.
I'm on board. There we go. There's some late game. Am I right? I think I'm right. I did the mathematics on if that was late game, and it turns out it is. Turns out it is. We'll block down here just in case this drain goes wrong, but now all we should need is time. Whirling Death, good job. We don't take any damage here, that's all I'm really worried about. Another super late game card in the Evershade Stalker. Nice work, Unspeakable Horrors. And Piercing Darkness? I think we're looking good. And he does nothing. I wonder if he just has a hand of like whirling deaths and combat tricks. That would be pretty cool. I don't want to see him play like Captain Farron. That would be the shitty thing for us. Nox and Fervor would be kind of shitty here as well, but okay. I feel like we've just won. Riptide Rex. We're not dead, are we? he's definitely going to kill all of our units, but we're not dead. Okay. So let's see what the old missed call brings back. If it's going to give us a conchologist or if it's going to give us the big boy. Conchologist. Well, you tried, my dude. So how do we feel about this? If we need to punch in for 8 next turn, we can. 4, and then 3 of these dum-dums. So if he blocks the big one, that would be exactly 8. I don't know. I think if we just have time, we'll probably be okay here. Right? We've got a handful of cards. We just need to get some width going, and we'll be fine. So I don't necessarily want to draw cards off this. I just want to get the dude on the board. So let's start with the Spirit Leech. And then we can decide if we want to spew a bunch of Evershade Stalkers. That's looking like the way to go. This attack should get him to 2. He has to block the Spirit Leech with the Riptide Rex. And then we can try and just kill him with the flames, with the, what do you call it, Demolitionist next turn. We can even like burst out a Risen Mists and then drop the Demolitionist on it so it doesn't take 2 turns. Okay, feeling good. Sad face from opponent. Got him. Good job, team. I'm proud of us. Didn't even see a blood bait. All right, so who are we picking up here? You're pretty incentivized to pick up a second Kalista after picking up the first one, because her flip is so good in Black Spear. Just the downside, Rasa doesn't play too well in these decks, and then the Rekindler, like we're getting a very expensive set of cards here. But like I don't think I'm ready to to give up on it, right? I'm not ready to say, we're a Kalista control deck and we're not a Mist Wraiths deck, but we need to really get that in our heads that that's what we're doing. We've got like 2 Mist Wraiths and 2 Risen Mists, 0 Wraith colors. It's very tough to call ourselves a Mist Wraiths deck. Oh, look at that. That's a collection of cheap bros. Such a value chain that was, playing the Conchologist into Unspeakable Horror, into an Invoke. I'll just assume that that's the way that chained out, but it's pretty big time. Okay, not bad. Trade our 2 mana for their 3. Still have this little nugget left over. What are you? Prey. It's not a bird. Some kind of fairy wisp type thing. You don't have flavor text? Here we go. They flicker through the dark forest, dotting the tree line like stars in the night sky, unaware of their pursuers. That's heavy. That is heavy. Maybe one day they will be aware of their pursuers. Want to do this? Nah, let's go ahead and just drop the leech. We're going to get some trades. Let's get some trades. Kalista turning up. Did that bring back the succession token? It's tough, right? He's playing Lucian. He wants to see a lot of the same things we see, where the units die and give some kind of bonus. And we already have our Kalista. I think I'm just going to pass on this and see if we can't pick up a play here. And one of the potential things for us to watch out for is dropping Unspeakable Horror onto our Prey token, right? You can Unspeakable Horror anything. There's a lot of removal spells that can't actually target your own stuff. So we got a potential play there. Okay. Well, that would be a Kalista flip. Lucian cares about your allies. He's not like Thresh. So Kallista's got a flip. The important thing with Kalista flipping, she's flipped forever now, right? So if we play the Rekindler, it's going to bring back a flipped Kalista. Now we have this Black Spear for Lucian. Looks like we're in a pretty good spot now. Alright, then I can't remember with Kalista if this actually shows what she's bringing back. Give me the Oracle Eye. Spirit Leech, okay. It's hard to see, right? It's all faded and shit, but turn up my gamma correction and my brightnesses and stuff, but I assure you that's a 4-1 in there. Okay, we could have looked to play the Frenzied Skitterer as well, but this feels like a pretty strong attack. He can't block our fearsome piece of this, and so he should be taking 7, unless he has another card. Then we could look to maybe make a fearsome style attack next turn. Oh, interesting. All right. It's one way to get in there and block. What are we taking here? The Quicken, probably? It is nice to be able to just to go face with the Electro Harpoon, but that seems kind of far into the future. Maybe if our opponent was at like 6, we would have considered something like that. So many Dauntless Vanguards. I keep seeing these and just thinking of Magic and being like, it would be nice to quicken away these tokens. Right, but man, not a lot going on in terms of dudes to put on the board. I guess we can get the Kelp Maidens in, and then I'm looking to like wait until he attacks, and then quicken away the Shark Chariot. Like maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if we really care. Right, if we don't want to deal with this in the future, this has been like the only indicator he's had that he can do ephemeral things with this dum-dum. Alright, we'll take the Shark Chariot damage if it's actually going to come through. I don't care to lose the Conchologist. It doesn't have Fearsome, and then if he kills our Kalista, then we can just rekindle it back. So much Rekindler. It's like I almost want to just kill off our own Kalista just to start rekindling her back. Not yet, my friend. Not yet. Okay. Brother about to get nugged. Oh, the big tempo plays. That was quite nice shutting down that crumble. Can't even block our Kalista here. Looks good to me. All right. You can vengeance something. By all means, go for it. Neverglade Collector's the scary one. But it's going to have a little bit of trouble blocking with 0 attack now. Okay. I bet we're okay here. Take 1. Alright, take 4. Like, take 1, you got me. I guess we could have prevented it with the vengeance. It just doesn't matter. Okay. Squad. Rip Kalista. Not a very nice thing to do. Alright, alright. Good job. So what can we do here? Wow, we can't just come in and pick up the Harrowing. I'm curious if like how much we'd want it, right? It's just one of the most powerful cards in the game. But like the way all these games have sequenced out, we've had like no issues having units on the board. So I'm curious how able we would be to just like throw away our stuff. But then the other thing that can be pretty big with the Harrowing is harrowing back on the Rekindler, and then the Rekindler bringing back champions for you. It will like overfill your board, but it's easy ways to get more Kalistas out there, which then resummons more resummons more Rekindlers, resummons more Kalistas. I think this will be okay. The Mistkeepers, we've had like a bit of trouble getting these slays going, and this is an awful slow card. I think we'll just let that one go. Go for the raw power out here. All right, but not a bad start. Not a bad start. I was really suspecting we were going to like 0-2. Short video today, guys. Not doing Twitch anymore. Here's 2 games for you. Like, follow, subscribe. See ya. All right, but back to this. It's kind of tempting to mulligan like a little bit harder for Unspeakable Horrors and for Conchologist, right? Opponent has both Teemo and Zoe. I think I'm okay with that. We'll get rid of the Risen Mist just because our Mist Wraith count is so low, but still hold on to Fading Icon so that we can have a good curve. Let's see if he's got it. Teemo, right from the start. Could be a tough draw to beat. If we don't find a way to interact with him, we may be getting a little vengeance for our Teemo disconnect earlier in the day. Okay, I want to go ahead and pick up the Fading Icon. It's just an easy way for us to, kill off a unit for Kalista fairly aggressively. And like with the makeup of our hand, we may not find ourselves with very much to do. So, we'll see. Not quite ready to attack with Kalista. If we can like Mist Collar back, then we'll consider it a little more, but not right now. Okay, these skitterers could be important as well. Like if the opponent doesn't open with Teemo, we can potentially give him some neg attack. I was worried about the likes of a slow spell like that with the Mist Calls stranded in our hand, but it's okay. The second answer to Teemo. Nice. Uh-oh. He's acting like he's gonna do something. Little worried. Not big worried, just little worried. Sure. What are we at, like 11 puff caps? We might have to quicken this this puff cap peddler. Assume he's going to open and take us to 11. Is not awesome. Take us to 10. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna be the greedy boy here. I'm just gonna come out and get on board. Now, we do have like dead Kalistas for the Rekindler, but the things we have to watch out for are if we want to say play Nocturne. If Nocturne dies, he's going to be the strongest ally, and so Nocturne is the one that would be getting returned whenever we play the Rekindler. Not something we really want, but if we're going to be aggressive on this board, that's kind of who we need. Well, I mean, I guess the Rekindler's okay. We just have to leave one Kalista back.
One candle for every sun.
This does get the most stats on the board. Victor's whatever. Can't currently block, then maybe we can deal with him with a Nocturne turn.
Would a mushroom help?
Okay. So he's handled our Kalistas, and we've gotten to this kind of classic space against the Puffcaps deck to where their attacks are never relevant for the rest of the game. Like, I guess he could hit elusive or quick attack or something with Victor, but this is where you typically run into against Puffcaps to where they can't make profitable attacks. So I'm hoping we can get ourselves in this kind of spot to where we might be able to like minus his team with both Frenzied Skitterer and Nocturne, and we can potentially hook whatever else is available to block with like the Rekindler, and then the rest of his team can't block all of our fearsomes. Not quite sure if we'll be able to like chunk in enough damage and make something like that work. And I'm kind of interested in taking down this Victor if he doesn't open with him. But let's see. Let's see how this turns out. And we have to be okay, right? We just need some time. I'm going to rekindle back another Kalista. We still have this Piercing Darkness in hand for whenever that's relevant. I think this is okay.
A foray into the field? How exciting!
Unspeakable horror coming in to make things scary, though. So where are we at? 3, 7, 9 with the unspeakable horror. I think that's where we're gonna live. So we'll drop the Skitterer first. Let's see, I guess we might want to wait and see how lame this dude's gonna be and see if we need to gain 5. I don't think we need to gain 5. I think this will be okay. It's pretty tough for him to burn us out from 7. We are at 42 puff caps. It's like 2 damage. Oh no, Victor flipped. That wasn't on my radar. This will still be okay, but that was definitely sloppy. I should have paid a little more attention to how close he was to flipping. Okay. No, our team hit like spell shield. You can spell shield. You can hit through spell shield with Nocturne, but that was definitely sloppy. Okay.
You're disrupting my research.
We're getting there. It just don't take too much damage this turn. Ooh, a second piercing darkness. Nice.
Oh, if mushrooms could talk. Oh, whoops, am I right?
That's scary. That's scarier than any of this stuff he's had out here. We might find ourselves dying to a giant invoke. This is an attack where I'm surprised he's not attacking with everything to try and full kill our board. If you do make this attack, you want your 4/4 to be on the right. So that way, if our Kalista was to grow, she would still die in combat. There's a ton of puff caps, up to 64. Oh my god! I guess I'm glad that we got the piercing darkness off. Can we ever deal 20 this turn? I think that's going to be what our problem is we just can't kill him fast enough. Okay. Yeah, this one's probably going to come down to that mistake we made on the Victor. Because it's going to take us 2 turns to try and come in. We do have the mini-morph. Like, I'm going to say, if this play here is the Scourge, we could mini-morph it away. We just have to come in with this. We don't have the mana to mini-morph it and then quicken it, which is problematic. At least he's coming in for the block. Okay, dodge that bullet. Okay. 2. This can be a little scary. I have to assume that he's going to attack with the Plaza Guardian. We do at least get to block it with the Rekindler and then Mist's Call. But as far as these other attacks go, we have to also quicken Zoe. I don't want him hitting an additional card. I know he's going to get to play this, but it's kind of a disaster if he's able to play like a Crescent Strike or something. Let's see, we get the Nocturne back, not Kalista. 3, okay. Okay. So the downside with Nocturne now is he has to attack to get the Evershade Stalkers going. So let's replace the Prey, and we went to Unspeakable Horror Zoe. All right. Cygnus. Ooh. Ooh, so what if we play Cygnus and override a 2/2? Then we can hit for 10? Alright, we did it. We did it. Give an ally elusive. Oof. I don't know if we deserved that one or not, but but we got there at the end of the day. Rip. All right. We'll say we played that one perfectly and we won because of our exquisite skill set, not any kind of top deck or anything. Learning from the best. You know what they say is the esteemed hacker Crash Overrod would say, mess with the best, die like the rest. But all right, what are we doing here? I don't really want any of these. Like, I don't want the box. I'd be okay with group shot, but I still have like this vision of us picking up a handful of reasonable Mist Wraith cards. Again, we should have probably given up on this idea around like pack 3, but I'm still believing in it. And I don't want the Fearsome Dogs. They're a little off for what our deck is trying to do. So I'm going to skip over all those. Yeah, I might have to go back and rewatch that classic movie. It's called Hackers. I think it might be on HBO these days. It stars young Angelina Jolie and some dude. They do a lot of hacking, and the historically the problem with making hacking interesting. It's kind of the Professor X problem in the X-Men movies, right? It's like how do you want to show like Professor X's powers? It's like he's just sending brainwaves at shit. And so whenever you're watching a X-Men movie and Professor X needs to do something, it's like this is his move. It's like and that's all he does. And they'll occasionally put, some like brainwaves on him and shit, but for the most part, anytime Professor X is on screen and using his telepathic abilities, he's just like doing this. And and shit's kind of happening. And same thing as the level of excitement of watching people hack in movies is you just got some nerd sitting in front of a computer slamming on a keyboard. Might as well put some Matrix chat on the screen. That was the problem with hackers was like that was before you could put like the Matrix green stuff all over the screen and make it look interesting. But I think they made up for it with like 80s electronic music and so I think they made up for it. All right. How are we going to manage this one? I'm looking like this is just going to be a Kalista game. So we'll get her down, see if Dude still feels like attacking. And if he does, then we can probably just try and flip this Kalista pretty quickly. So it's slightly awkward that we want to get a missed call or a Chronicler of Ruin play, but we don't have enough mana to do everything, and we didn't have enough units. Like if he attacked with everything and we double blocked, we could only play the Chronicler onto Kalista. Okay, let's play this slow. Opponent like has to attack here, so we should get a Kalista flip. The worry would be a Black Spear, right? Coming out of Kindred Kalista, that's going to be their common removal bro. Alright, get ourselves another blocker. Another dead unit. And I would like to wait before we flip his Kalista if we can. I just don't think we're going to have that kind of time because we've got some problems here. I guess he's going to be bringing back Unspeakable Horrors. We just don't want him bringing back Cursed Keepers. What is she at? 3. So we can have like 2 units die here and then try to Piercing Darkness our next turn. That could be a thing. So if we say like block here and here, just use this thing to prevent. It even doesn't flip his Kalista, flips ours, and then we should have a bit of time. It's not going to be guaranteed to work. It's very easy for opponent to play like a Glimpse from Beyond or something, but let's at least give ourselves a shot though. And then I don't think, he could be playing 2 Kalistas, 2 Kindreds, but this is probably the only Kalista we're going to be dealing with. Probably. Yep, has the Glimpse Beyond. Okay. She's still manageable, though.
Can a spirit fight to the death? Thinking I'll learn soon.
There's our Rekindler. Oh, so who are we bringing back? Let's check that out first. Chronicler of Ruin will be the guy coming back. Okay. And then again, I'm not going to be super upset if Kalista dies here. We have these Rekindlers to bring her back. Okay. All right. Kalista has been boomed. That problem is off the table. Kind of want her to die now, so we can get this Rekindler on the board. Then we need the Rekindler to die. Just go in greed mode. He's not doing that much damage. Here comes the big boy. That's who we wanted to see. Okay. A little worrisome falling to 10, right? These Neverglade Collectors can deal tons of damage. Might need to look to mini-morph that dum-dum, but I also worry quite a bit about a Kindred coming online. Sure.
We each died, then found home.
Alright, so the two Kalistas are 4 units. Let's add in a Mistwraith, then we'll slam with everything that isn't the Rekindler. And we might have to mini-morph this Neverglade Collector, but at least for now, they're fairly powerful attacks. And this dum-dum here can't block. The Undying, not the world's best blocker.
Oh, dancing partner.
Okay. Is not particularly strong against fearsomes. Did those mathematics. Kindred, okay. I was wondering if Kindred would come down and we'd have a way to just like kill off the Rekindler, not with the Mistwraiths on the board, but he's quickly making his way to being the weakest unit. Go ahead and say no thank you to the Kalista kill. Would we rather create a Daybreak or a Nightfall? We probably want a Nightfall off of this thing. So let's wait and see if we can't play this first.
One candle.
Dude's got a Rekindler of his own, huh? That's a little scary. I think we can kind of like deal with the Kalista. It's again like my ultimate concern on this board is the Neverglade Collector. I think we're going to try and just like snipe it in combat. Let's add... Can we add this? We can both Black Spear and play this dum-dum. We just couldn't play the Heavens Aligned if we want to. Okay. And again, my idea with this board is I want to mini-morph the Neverglade Collector. So he doesn't get all of these drains. So say like we can block here. That lets us get these Kalista chains going. I don't think they're going to matter in this match, but it's something we can do. You need to get mini-morphed. You can come down here. Do you block? We don't have to worry about him, right? I kind of like having the elusive. It's going to get popped by Kindred, though, because our units are going to die. Takes us to 0. Not the most relevant block on the Spiderling, but probably need to make it. We're falling fairly low here. Take us to 5. Okay. Life still kind of sucks. Okay. I think we want to target the Kalista. It is a little scary leaving the Kindred on the board, but we can't. It's so tough to deal with just this chains of this dum-dum. And we missed. I guess we're not playing this other Stalking Shadows. Oh my god. And then Eclipse Dragon that we can't play. Fucking wow. Okay, well. We've successfully done the big Kalista thing, but man, what a bad chain.
Join the conflagration.
So he does at least have to block all of our stuff or be dead. I mean, of course, he could have a vengeance or whatever, but I think this is good. Well, I guess we can look at our top 4 cards and know that there's no units in there. That's insane. The old Kindred flipperoo here. Okay. Doesn't change anything. She just grows on the flip side. I'm not super worried about that. The Mist Call. Does that bring back the Rekindler? Oof. Oof. We got the roll onto the mini morph. Okay. Ooh, and a vengeance. Nice. Very nice. It's tempting. Maybe we shouldn't have blocked the Curse Keeper, because that's going to give him a blocker next turn, but I mean, we should be fully wide. Gonna have 3 Kalistas bringing back 3 Rekindlers. The Great Beyond. I feel pretty good about the Great Beyond. It's quite tough for them to deal with. Okay, no cards. Shouldn't have to worry about them top decking an Atrocity. I think we did it. I think we did it. The harrowing. Right on time, my dude. There it is. That's pretty cool though, right? I told you that's a powerful chain you can do with the Rekindler and Kalista. We used to do that a lot with like Blighted Caretakers and stuff. The deck isn't what we drafted or what it is very easy to draft these days, but that used to be what you would see out of the Kalista decks was, and why they got nerfed so heavily was they drafted into just like super powerful decks. So cool. Let's check out these trade picks here, though. I'm okay to get rid of the Spirit Leech, but our spell count is super high, up at 18, and most of these aren't units. So I guess like Fading Memories is a unit that's like 2. Mist Call, kind of, sure, 3. That still sounds like a lot. I'm gonna skip over all these again. I don't really want the Fearsome Dogs. We're not that aggressive Mist Wraiths deck we want to be. Okay, Doom Beast for Stalking Shadow I could get behind. I don't want to trade out our Mini-Morph, and I don't want this Darkness card, so let's add in the Doom Beast. Another Doom Beast, cool. We haven't had too much trouble with card advantage, so I feel pretty okay with that. It is scary that it's offering us up these Darkness cards. I can't imagine how the game thinks we're actually a Darkness deck, but apparently it does. Oh, it's our first Wraithcaller. Man, it sucks to have to trade out a Frenzied Skitterer for it, but such an incredibly powerful card, even if the Mist Wraiths don't completely come together. Here, let's get rid of Kelp Maidens. We've had some turns to where the attack could be relevant, but in general, it's not. With this, we have 2 Rekindlers, and that's enough. Whenever I would talk about like the Kalista decks of old, there's probably I'm still images up on the site for the kind of quick guides, but you would try to get 3 Blighted Caretakers, 3 Neverglade Collectors, 3 Rekindlers, 3 Kalistas, and then just whatever, whatever else fill out the deck. It doesn't matter. You want to have Hapless Aristocrats and stuff, but that was the big Kalista build around, and we don't have the Blighted Caretakers or anything to make that work, but so I don't think we want to stack in Rekindlers too heavily. So I'm going to skip over all these. And then our last one, we got a Mist Wraith here. All right. It kind of feels like Mist Wraiths. Again, we're not really there, but we'll see what this Wraithcaller does for us. Yeah, man, I'm real glad we got those chains together. Having that board with three Kalistas on it, that attack with the two Rekindlers, or the two Kalistas bringing back two Rekindlers, bringing back two Kalistas is pretty cool. That used to be about as good as card advantage could get in Runeterra. Times have changed. Bandle City is a thing, but that used to be it. Cool, cool. Yeah, I mean that's the with Kalista that was, I talk about Riot balancing the buckets and everything, and how it would be fantastic if they actually did it with some regularity. But yeah, that's the Kalista used to be able to like heavily draft into Mist Wraiths or heavily draft into that control deck, and not anymore though. They went and butchered her buckets. Oh, this hand is bad. This is not a good role for the final battle. I think old Wiener House here is is probably fairly aggressive, but two Garen's LeBlanc Fiora. I wonder how you arrive at those champions if you start LeBlanc Fiora, but then for some reason want Garen's. Okay, we'll see. Well, we at least have like a decent 6-mana play here. Right, we burst out Risen Mists. Attack with the Mist Wraith, you can't block. Get Unspeakable Horror, the bird afterwards, and pick up the card. May not want to play the Unspeakable Horror. Like, we will have 6 mana for next turn, so if like he plays, if we worry about, say, LeBlanc, then we don't need the mana. I think this is okay. I mean, chances are, I don't know, coin flippy in terms of hitting something that we can play. We hit a 2/3 for 2. We're kind of happy with it. Moonlit Affliction. You're not a dude. I just did the mathematics. You are not a dude. Let's see how this goes. I feel like he's going to play another card.
Everything's easier behind a mask.
That's a little better than I wanted to deal with. Let's see. So I would think this turn he might stun the Mist Wraith, then take a hook. No stun play. Interesting. You're going to lose your 5/1. There it is. Now we're taking the 10 hit. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. I want our Unspeakable Horror back so I can hit this Thorn of the Rose. Alright, this is not good. At least we do have 2 dead Mist Wraiths, and the Harrowing in hand. The problem with trying to pull that off is that Mist Wraiths, I think, are 2 attack when they're dead, and then they get the bonuses when they're in play. I thought for some reason the Harrowing doesn't like to bring back Mist Wraiths, but I could be wrong on that. It's been a while. But I think we're fairly safe here, right? We have a good blocker in the Mist Wraith. We have the Drain to buy us some time. Okay, let's see if he opens on us. That'll be interesting. And then if like things do get too out of hand, we still have Vengeance, right? We can Vengeance stuff. We can Moonlit Affliction stuff. I think this is okay. It looks like he's going to go for the 4 Demacia play. Nope. I tell you. Gonna block like this. The idea here is we prevent the most damage that we can by hitting Reckless Jafarian. If he tries to do something like super clever out here in the middle, we can Vengeance. Since he did this, I am going to play the Moonlit Affliction. We're going to have to wait a turn on this. Maybe we should have just Vengeanced. I like that more now that I think about it. You can play another combat trick. We got lucky with that one. But Okay. Okay. Dude's on board.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Could have been. I mean, it is nice that it was successful. Now we still have the vengeance for later, but kind of scary. Golden Aegis. Okay. Not a lot we can do about that. How bad is this gonna be? Dead. It's gonna be we're dead bad. Alright. Damn. That was too bad. That was a pretty low roll of a mulligan. But at least in terms of this, the way I talk about this quite a bit is we switched over to play Magic there for a while, and there are just so many games in Magic that didn't feel like you were even playing because your resources didn't pan out. And that game, you could tell, was definitely not a good draw for our deck. But we had plays and we had decisions. It wasn't like, oh cool, we mulliganed to 5 and we kept a one lander and just aren't playing the game. And so sad day for the victories, but all in all, not bad at all. And so yeah, interesting draft how that played out. To start with, a mist race, a risen mists, and then ending at the end of the day with only 3 mist wraiths, 2 risen mists, and 1 wraith caller. While how much of that actually came here at the very end? We got 1 wraith caller, 1 risen mist. So that was ultimately the problem that we ran into with this deck. Was if we want to talk about a low roll, not so much that final game there, but the cards we needed just not showing up. And I'm not sure if we went wrong here at pick 4, picking up this Piercing Darkness. Like, the game was like really excited about showing us all of the Darkness Rising cards, and that was how we also ended up with this mini morph down here at pick 6. But I'm curious if we did something wrong with that. But I think the draft went like okay, right? For the most part, you knew we were going to see Kennen packs, right? We have Kennen. The Kennen packs are going to show up. We're going to see the Black Mist every time, which is fine. But then in an ideal world, we would be getting like Afterlife Kalista turning up, or Luminous Dusk turning up in a lot of those packs as the third option. But we were getting Darkness Rising, and then it was turning into a problem there at the end when it was trying to get us to actually draft Darkness cards. And so it's weird. I'm not sure what's going on in terms of, like, I've seen an incredible amount of Black Mist Nocturne these days, and now it was like we just had this collection of Darkness Rising cards turn up. I don't know if there's like a lot of overlap between those archetypes or what it is that's popping off the synergies, but I've noticed like more than should be like Darkness Rising turning up. And so I don't know, there has to just be a lot of overlap between a couple of these archetypes, and that was ultimately the problem we ran into with this draft. Was we low rolled on the Mist Wraith cards turning up, then we low rolled again on not being on, well, the second part we shouldn't call a low roll, right? We did something that made the game think we're trying to draft Darkness, and we got a lot of Darkness cards turning up after the fact, and so that was our fault there. But in terms of the Mist Wraiths deck, I think the only way you can realistically draft it these days is if you have Nocturne, right? And it has to be the Black Mist Nocturne. That's, again, the only archetype that actually has the Mist Wraith cards in it. And you just can't draft it if that's not what you're doing. And so there are other legitimate and reasonable Fearsomes decks out there, and I do think there'll be some more of them in the future as the Nasus archetypes get fleshed out. But that is your kind of like first decision when you're looking at these decks, especially when you're drafting Nocturne, is A, am I drafting a Mist Wraiths deck, or B, am I just drafting general Fearsomes? And if you're in the more general Fearsomes decks, you tend to have a lot of Fearsome dogs. You're looking for some Arachnoid Horrors. You're looking for the Spider, whatever this dum-dum was called. We just traded him away. but the spider that gives your units +1 attack, your opponent's -1 attack, and you aren't trying to do this just big Mist Wraith build around. The Mist Wraith actually tend to be pretty bad in the Fearsome deck because they're just 2/2s or maybe a 3/2 at best, and you're looking for a little bit more consistency than that. And so that is your core decision, right? Am I drafting Mist Wraiths or drafting Fearsomes? And we chose the Fearsomes or the Mist Wraiths because we started off with 2. And so we tried to move on from there. But we did, switch into a nice Kalista style deck a little bit later since we didn't see any of the Mist Wraiths. We did have Kalista turn up in Champion Pick 3, and we were able to trade away and get some of these Kalistas going. And so as far as the Kalista goes, it's kind of off topic for what we were going with. But whenever I'm trying to draft Kalista, I look for that combo of Blighted Caretaker, Neverglade Collector, and the Rekindler, and then stuff to sacrifice away. And that is basically the entirety of your deck. You'll incidentally fill it out with removal spells, but that combo we got there in like round 6 or round 5, where we were chaining together Kalistas into Rekindlers, that is the big payoff for getting the Kalistas going. And the big key to the deck is getting Kalista to flip early. If she dies, it's fine, because you're just going to bring her back later with the Rekindlers. And so the big problem you used to run into with the Kalista was actually like managing your biggest dead unit, right? A lot of times you would want to Kalista back Wraithcaller, so the Wraithcaller brings back a Mist Wraith, but then you would accidentally kill something a little bit bigger. It was usually Scuttlegeist that was the problem unit, but you had to watch out for that quite a bit. But, interesting little draft here, interesting little trial. I had fun with it. It didn't come together exactly how I expected, but in terms of fun, that was a pretty good one. And so that is going to do it for us today. There's no rewards to turn on, but I guess your reward will be knowing that we're not going to stream anymore. And so if you turn up Saturday and we're not there, I'm sorry. I'll tweet about it and stuff, and here's this video and stuff. But yeah, I can't really make the time work consistently to be able to stream regularly. And so it was a nice experiment. If you were one of the 3 subscribers, I do appreciate it. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it's just too much to do. I can't consistently and realistically feel like that 3-hour block of time isn't a burden. And so the YouTube videos will be coming back at you every day, and we'll maybe get some special streams going as new sets are released. But as a weekend activity, we're not going to be doing it anymore. And so that is going to do it for us today. I hope everyone enjoyed the trial. You learned how to kindle the Kalistas a little bit better. Maybe you learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.